chores, and he wants to go away to, a like flight academy because that's what his father did. But his uncle and aunt need him to stick around and help with the farm. And that's the setup. That's the ordinary world.
Okay. And so what would be the inciting incident in Star Wars?
In Star Wars, the inciting incident that sets
Luke Skywalker off.
That sets Luke Skywalker off, and really that sets the whole story in motion, since it's told through Skywalker. He becomes the protagonist. Is Luke gets a droid at a sort of a swap sale, and when he turns his droid on, there's a message, and the message is from this woman in a hood, and she's asking Obi-Wan Kenobi for help. And that is the inciting incident. It sets into motion a chain of events that lead to Luke's call to action. Once he sees this message with the hooded woman calling for Obi-Wan Kenobi, he wonders if it could be Ben Kenobi, and he ventures out in his hover car to look for Ben Kenobi.
What's the catalyst of the story?
Exactly, the catalyst.
It could destroy your hero's world.
Exactly.
Okay.
Could. And usually in that first or any sort of internal conflict is what you call a character flaw. Conflict is necessary for any story. No story thrives without narrative tension, and to have narrative tension you need conflict. And so character flaw is a type of internal conflict. And for Luke Skywalker, his character flaw was perhaps not believing in himself, not believing that he could be a Jedi. That comes along a little later once he's introduced to the possibility.
I think that at the beginning he is sort of he's cocky, but at the same time I don't necessarily think he believes that he can do it.
Yeah, and he's still a child, under the thumb of his aunt and uncle, and the Imperial army is looking for the droids with Princess Leia's signal on it, and they end up killing Luke's family. And I think, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi invites him to leave Tatooine and to go on this journey. That represents a narrative arc, what we call a call to action. And Luke, there's also in Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey, and the refusal of the call is one of the steps you'll find in dramatic structure. And so the refusal of the call for Luke was him not believing that he could be a Jedi, not sure if he believed in the Force, not trusting himself with the power. That's a good example of character flaw that he overcomes. And that's key to narrative arc. If you picture narrative arc like a wave, the character has to overcome obstacles that are escalating in stakes and in tension as the story builds toward a climax.
So would you say that's relevant to all stories?
Yeah, certainly. Whether the conflict is internal, something within themselves psychologically that they'll have to overcome, or external, some obstacle that they have to overcome outside of themselves, which in Star Wars, we've discussed the internal conflict. The external conflict is the threat posed by the Imperial forces and the Death Star. So overcoming any conflict or obstacle is what drives the character to grow and to change. And character arc is always about character changing. It's about them learning, growing, and becoming what they couldn't be in the beginning. What would you say his character flaw is?
I think you're hitting it. I think it's about belief, because at the end of the movie, Obi-Wan says, "Luke, trust yourself, believe in the Force."
And
So